Hello and welcome to this special session hosted by LawWiser as part of Data Privacy Week. This global initiative underscores the critical importance of protecting personal data and implementing responsible data practices in today's digital landscape. We are honored to have with us Mr. Rajiv Malik. He has been working with LG Electronics for 20 years. His extensive experience in managing legal affairs and making strategic decisions will provide invaluable insights as we explore the intricacies of the Digital Personal Data Protection Act and its real world application in today's rapidly evolving business landscape. In today's discussion, we will focus on the key implications of the DPDP Act for organizations and tackle some of the most pressing challenges that businesses face. So, sir, let's start with the first question. As per you, what key steps should organizations take to ensure compliance with the DPDP Act's consent management requirements?
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. So, thanks to LawWiser and you. And because this DPDP Act is now more than a buzzword after the draft rules have been come up. And actually, my recent art, I have also written one recent article is what is published on the same topic, right? But you have rightly mentioned for organizations, it's a big challenge actually, right? So coming specifically to your question, if I talk about, so it is for the consent management, it is very important that you should have the clear and informed consent, right? So before collecting any personal information, you have to explain the individuals that why you need their data and how you will use it. And it is very important to use a simple language that everyone can understand. It should not be the legal jargons, right? Always, it is better to get the explicit agreement, basically opt-in type. And so don't assume that they're okay with it. So that's the first thing. And then as the technology is booming, so we can use the technology also, the consent management system, right? For example, for the contract, we are having the contract management system. For litigation management system. In the same way, we should have the consent management system in place, which can easily track that who has given consent and for what purposes. That will make it very easier to manage and prove that any organization is following the rules. And then not all the system will only not able to give that the perfect thing. So you have to regularly review and update your consent. It's not that the person has given one consent and then we forget about it. No, we have to regularly check whether they are still agreeing to use their data, specifically if our practices are getting changed, or maybe we have to use that data for some other purposes. And another very important thing is training the employees, which whoever is handling the data, and that has to especially the personal data, so that they should understand the importance of that the consent also and the data also. So they should record it correctly. They should take consent correctly, and they should also interact with the data principal whether they have any questions about it or not. So basically, overall, I can say you should have the full clarity to the data principal regarding that, and that's the best way to handle it.
That's a very insightful approach, sir. Consent management truly is foundational in today's privacy landscape. Now, moving on, how can companies effectively structure their compliance framework to address data breach notifications and minimize the risk of penalties?
Data breaches, especially with the, I should tell you that DPDP rules is one thing, and another is the quantum computing. With now the advancement in the quantum computing, there are going to be a lot of headaches about the data breaches, because the data now can be breached by using the quantum computing techniques, which is uh, uh, which is a very highly technical term basically. And for an organization right now, we are a little bit away from quantum computing, but it is in the research stage. But as of now, if we are talking of the data breaches, it is always better to have the cross-functional team. For example, one person from IT team, another person from legal team, then from the communication team, or one from the HR team. So all these, the combination of cross-functional teams, or any organization can have the one team which is handling the data breaches, right? Then there should be a step-by-step guide to the employees, to that team. Whenever there is a data breach, how should they react? What are the first steps? There should be some to-do list. Step-by-step plan is required, right? And then if in case of the data breach happens, right, unfortunately, well, it's a matter of time when the data is getting breached. Nobody is safe here today in these words, right? So we have to assess what the damage has been done to the organization, what data has been leaked, whose data has been leaked, right? Then there is a statutory requirement under DPDP Act, also under the CERT guidelines also, that is within specific timelines we have to report the data breaches. We cannot delay it, right? So notifying authority is another thing, and then it is also important to inform the concerned persons, the data principals, whose data has been breached. And another thing which is very important for every organization is doing, having the and using the encryption techniques, right? So that's the right now we can say that if we are having certain using certain encryption techniques till the time the quantum age is coming, we are safeguarding, at least we are taking the steps towards the safeguarding the data breaches. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. So it's clear that a proactive and well-structured framework can make a huge difference. So now, looking at roles within organizations, as per you, what considerations should guide the appointment of a data protection officer, and what responsibilities should they prioritize to ensure compliance with the act?
Data protection officer, it specifically basically should be the IT guy, but it cannot only be the IT guy. That's why I'm talking, because he has to have the knowledge of cyber security. He should also know about the privacy laws, data protection. So he should have the strong background about all these things, right? So it's a mixture of the role. It's a new, altogether new role which is coming up. So that's what I'm saying. The knowledge of law is very important. It's not only the Indian laws. You should also try to understand the GDPR also. There are certain organizations, both GDPR and the data protection laws, Indian are acting together. So then when he's making he should not be dependent on someone to take decisions. He should be an independent person, right? For regarding what you are talked about, that what should be the responsibilities of DPO, then of course he should be required to have and he should ensure the compliance, right? With all the compliance of data protection laws in India as well as the GDPR, and then he should have the capacity to help people, right? Because the new phase is coming up, and people are not aware of their privacy rights, and when the data breaches are happening, so he should have that empathy also to understand, right? When he is talking to the individuals. And then from the organizational perspective, he should have regularly conduct the risk assessments, advise management what can be the pros and cons, and what exactly is going on, and where there is a risk of non-compliances. So monitoring compliance is another thing. Yes.
Okay, those are very crucial points. Thank you. Now, moving forward, sir, as per you, how can in-house counsel proactively address risks associated with the non-compliance with the Act's stringent security requirements?
First of all, it is very important to understand the data flows. Basically, we should have for example, uh, map it out, right? That is very important. Suppose we have to find out some treasure, you should have one map with your in your hand. In the same way, you should first try to understand where the data is lying, where it has been used, where it has been stored, and where it has been shared. So that is very important. So you should have that, basically, the data discovery type of things in your mind. So you should have the in-house concept should have the comprehensive picture, your organization data handling process. That is very important. After that, it is the next step is the regular risk assessments. What are the vulnerabilities are there in the system, right? Self audits are there, and you can say in a technical term, you should have the data protection impact assessment, where you can actually find out oh, where the risks how you can mitigate the potential risk, right? And then it is not only important to safeguard the company, one organization, because it's our responsibility for that. We are all organizations are also giving certain data to the third party, right? Or maybe there are certain vendors are already working with the organization. So third part vendor vetting is very important, where we can you can say that third party audits are required. Then you should have the proper contracts in place. So you can say that the contractual safeguards are required. And of course, which I have previously talked about, that the developing the robust data security policy is very important. When you should have the different policies for handling different data, it is very important for organizations so that employees are aware of what they are supposed to do with the data. And employee training, I previously also discussed, that is the important part where in-house counsel should involve themselves. Not only should depend upon the DPO or the IT person, they should involve themselves to train the people from different perspectives. They can actually in-house counsel can guide what's the risk is there, and so legal person is the right person who can handle these things. And then another challenge is the cross-border transfers, right? There also the in-house counsel has to take care the where servers are there, whether the information is going out or not. So these things, if there's a cross-border transfer, then there need to have the cross-border agreements also. That is also the one of the role of the in-house counsel.
Thank you, sir. Clearly, in-house counsel, they need to be absolutely proactive in ensuring reduced risks. Now, sir, coming to the last question, what essential elements should an internal compliance checklist include to align with the DPDP Act's governance and accountability standards?
It's basically a overall, you can say the concluding question, right? So
Yes.
that's why it's covering all the aspects. First of all, starting with the consent, which I have answered the first question, consent, ensure that the organizations are having the valid individual consents before collecting and before using their personal data. Then I have talked about data audits, right? There's a regular regular audit of the regular handling data handling processes is required. Then what is the where is the inventory that we have to see. Then whether we are having the legal basis for the data keeping the data, or we have to destroy that data. Then I have talked about the privacy policies also, right, which we need to develop. Then we have to also take care, organizations also take care about the data subject rights. So that it is make easier for the individual to access, correct, or delete, erase their data, right? And then the staff training, then risk assessments, and then monitoring. I have told you that monitoring is also very important part, right? Then we should also be ready for the audit. Self audit we should do, and we should also be ready for if anybody is for the relevant authorities are doing any audit, then we should be ready for the audits also. And I have also talked about the international data transfer, right? That is, so we have should have the proper agreement, policies, and another important thing is the transparency and accountability. So we have to be transparent while handling the personal data. Another thing which this rules have come up regarding the children and vulnerable individual data, right? That we have to very take care that we should have the consent from the guardians, parents, while we are dealing with any data with the children or the thing. And if we are using, because now a lot of organizations are using AI also for keeping this data intact. So we have to see whether the actually the data use of AI is helping us, or maybe it is might be a little risky also. So that analysis has to be done. Yes. Before I conclude, I just want to summarize whatever I have said, although I have summarized, but in a nutshell, I would like to say that to comply with the DPDP Act, we need to be transparent, responsible, and proactive. This means getting clear consent, using strong security measures, putting our users right first. By following these guidelines actually and regularly reviewing our practices, we can build trust and avoid costly penalties. And in the last, I have just tried to give it in a small form, right? Which I would like to state, which is to make it more interesting. That uh, In the digital age where secrets lie, in the digital age where secrets lie, guard your data, it's none pry. For every click, a trail remains. Protect your rights, break no chains. Protect your rights, break no chains. Thank you.
That's wonderful, sir. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for sharing your experience, practical perspectives on aligning with the Act's requirements. Thank you, sir, for the interaction
Thank you
today.
so much. And another disclaimer is that whatever said, it's my personal views, not of the company. Right?
Absolutely, sir.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, sir. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you.